Now I know.
They are.
And
now
now
you know Bowser fucks.
and we and didn't we find out Luigi's actual penis size at one point?
Yeah. Welcome to the Rewatchers on the Pod, where we are watching The Watchmen. That's right, it's us. You're here with me, Tyler Harris, and
Gwen Hammer.
Tyler McKinley.
Justin Hammer.
And hey, we watched 2 episodes of Watchmen this week, episodes 4 and 5. And you know what? All these episodes have cool, dope-ass titles that are given like their own things, and we've never once mentioned them. So I'm going to do that this time. We watched episode 4, If You Don't Like My Story, Write Your Own, directed by Andrzej Perek and written by Damon Lindelof and Crystal Henry. And episode 5, Little Fear of Lightning, directed by Steph Green and written by Damon Lindelof and Carly Rae. Not Jepsen, unfortunately.
That would be incredible, actually.
I want a Watchmen Carly Rae Jepsen collab. I have been like crying for that for years. But anyways,
She and Trent Reznor would probably go really well together.
yeah. Well, Pup was trying to get a Carly Rae Jepsen like collaboration going, and I'm really hoping that happens.
That'd be rad.
They did do a song with Charlie Bliss. I don't know if you listened to their Christmas song. Very good. Here we go. We're going to talk about Watchmen now. I'm going to tell you everything that happened in these 2 episodes, according to Wikipedia. Here we go. Lady True buys out the farmland of an Oklahoma couple just moments before an object from space crashes onto their property to claim ownership of it. Angela learns about Will's parents at the Heritage Center when she hears her car crash outside and meets Lori, finding a pill bottle inside. Later, Angela leaves the pill bottle and Judd's KKK outfit with Wade and fails to capture an unknown vigilante who witnessed her dispose of Will's wheelchair. Lori finds Will's fingerprints in Angela's car, as well as a connection to True's facility at the Millennium Clock. True provides them with a list of people with access to new lightweight drones, and Vietnamese tells Angela that Will wonders if she got the pill bottle. That evening, True talks to Will about being upfront with Angela, but with events to come to a head in a few days, he would rather she figure it out herself. Meanwhile, Veet collects fetuses from a lake to grow new clones of Phillips and Crookshanks after killing off the existing ones. With their help, Veet launches the dead bodies with a catapult to test the limits of its prison. Wade suffers PTSD as a survivor of Veet's 1985 squid attack. Lori bugs Wade's desk and learns that Angela asks him about the pills. Wade's ex-wife Cynthia tells him the pills are nostalgia, which contain other people's memories. The cavalry lure Wade into a warehouse where they are testing a teleportation portal. Joe explains both he and Judd are cavalry members, and are trying to keep them in check. Joe coerces Wade to help him learn what Angela knows about Judd's death after showing a video Veet made the day before the 1985 attack and addressed to the future President Redford, explaining his long-term plan, shaking Wade to his core. At the station the next day, Wade gets Angela to state that her grandfather was behind Judd's death. Laurie hears this and arrests Angela, but not before she ingests the pills. Wade returns home after work and cavalry members ride with guns. It is revealed that Veet's prison is on a moon. I'm not going to say that. And as he arranges servants' frozen bodies to spell out "Save me," so they'll be visible to a passing space probe. However, he is pulled back into the prison and arrested by the game warden. Lots of stuff. Lots of
Quality TV.
yeah. Lots of pretty big reveals, I think, in these episodes. Yeah. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, I think 2 particular scenes, the writer sat down and said, what will upset and piss Gwen off?
Okay, let's start there. I like this new segment of our podcast,
Where we just kick
which
it
is
off with-
Gwen Rants.
Yeah.
What pissed Gwen off?
Yeah,
this-
we know that there's a very specific thing you're supposed to do with coffee when you're mad to show people what's what.
Right.
And I'm excited to learn what we're going to learn this week.
That was scene 0.5.
Okay.
The scene that they decided would most piss me off is throwing back the fetuses just just babies in the water, and then the puppy in the incinerator.
Yep, Katie had trouble with both of these scenes as well.
Fucking casual, just puppy incineration. Yeah.
And I knew it. Like when he said that one's too small, I was like, "Don't kill the puppy! Don't kill the." And then she fucking killed the puppy.
It could have been a teleport. It could have been going to that prison that Adrian's
Yeah,
at.
but then Vite's just gonna launch it onto the moon.
I mean, he's not allowed to touch animals. He does, but he's not allowed to.
So this time it might work.
I haven't seen any like poodle fur or anything on any of his
Probably
suits.
threw them in the lake with the fetuses. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is a bizarre scene. I remember watching that the first time and being like, "Oh, I have even less of an idea of what's going on." It's like, "Oh," but yeah, the man's a genius.
Well, I figured he was growing the clones for himself, but he says they are a flaw in the prison, so it seems like they are something that he has discovered rather than something he has
Yeah.
engineered? Question mark?
Yeah,
That's the vibe I was getting. And I'm very, very, I want that answer of who built this place and what it is exactly.
Yeah, do you guys have any like ideas as far as that? Gwen, emphatic.
Dr. Manhattan, because I don't know anything about him. He seems to have supernatural powers, and he's in outer space, and
True.
there was Jupiter, so yeah, that's my evidence.
That's I could be on board with that. Yeah, there is a talk of an abandoning God.
Yeah.
Which we know Dr. Manhattan's super into is abandoning stuff. So yeah, that could be a good guess. I do like that we see the Game Warden again. In that wonderful world or wonderful prison that Veet is in. He reminds me very much of, I don't know why, but every time I see him, I just get huge Dread Pirate Roberts
Yes,
vibes
I
from
was gonna
Princess
say
Bride.
that.
Yeah,
Wesley.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it might be him at first glance.
I meant
Carrie
to look
Ellis,
it up.
yeah.
Is it not him?
Pretty sure it's not him. Once it got closer, it didn't look like him at least.
No.
Yeah.
That's just my headcanon now.
It'll become more clear who
Was he in Twin Peaks, Carrie Ellis? The
No.
Return? What am I thinking of that he was in recently?
I do not know.
Was it Fargo? Was he in Fargo? The TV series? Fargo?
Maybe.
Anyway, not
I don't
important.
remember.
Other show.
Yeah. Carrie Ellis was great though.
Yeah.
Princess Bride.
I Carrie Ellis.
Yeah. Any other kind of ideas about what's going on? We did get I feel like after multiple weeks of not really revealing anything but just very cryptic information on what's going on with him, got some pretty big reveals. Him catapulting into space and breaking frozen bodies while Claire de Lune plays in the background is touching, to say the least.
I was expecting him to come out on Mars, so that was a surprise that it was not Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Europa's good too.
Yeah.
It's the other planet or thing we think about possibly landing on sometimes.
Us personally. That's the four of us are frequently thinking about landing
That other
on
thing
Europa.
that we think about landing on.
Hashtag
We're in a
goals.
Cold War with our own country and Russia. We're trying to get an actor into space before both of them.
I would just formal recognition from both of them that we're involved. It's getting frustrating. But yeah, I think all that stuff's pretty great. I think when I first watched the show, I was just glad that we were getting answers. And the information I feel like is pretty satisfying each time it's revealed. Which is really fun.
I really like, it feels like there's this play on I don't know, this eldritch horror kind of aspect. And obviously that was kind of what the last episode sort of touched on with Glass's trauma and stuff with the squid and everything. You hear giant squid and telepathic or psychic powers or whatever, and then there's pulling fetuses out of the water, and I'm just my brain instantly is going to eldritch horror. But it's cool because we get reveals about how this isn't actually that, it's other things, the government or Vite was behind the giant squid falling on New York or whatever, and then there's like this prison where there's something wrong with it for they're just baby fetuses. It's not some strange. I mean, it is very strange,
Right.
but yeah, there's no explanation for that yet. So hopefully we get an answer there. But it's kind of fun to have some of that thematic material in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like for as many solid-ish answers as we got, I'm even more confused and I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do still have him totally separate from the other events going on, and like, yeah, it's still just like its own weird thing within the world somehow that we still don't necessarily have like a pinned down thing for.
Well,
but...
even like with the squid thing, it's like, okay, so Vite dropped the squid and he said it was a hoax, but he still dropped something massive on New York and people died, right? So what the hell happened?
It's the culmination of all these bullshit April Fool's jokes that people think are funny. They're not. And someday 3 million people are gonna get seriously hurt, and we're gonna have to stop doing April Fools. And it's gonna be all your fault. You know whoever needs to hear that is listening, and you know who you are.
You know, I have a favorite
NVIDIA
April Fool's joke that
or
I'm going to do.
Some other company that's going to be doing stupid April Fool's joke shit.
Exactly. Except for the good ones that turn my Yakuza games into turn-based JRPGs. Those are great.
I was going to say something about the... Nope, it's gone.
Oh, shit.
Right,
I'm so
cool.
sorry.
It's cool.
I didn't mean to.
It wasn't important. I remember. Okay. I'm really not an anime guy.
Fuck. Can you just timestamp that and send it to me? I'm working on something. So let's talk about, we do get a new, like, seemingly major player introduced in these episodes. In the cold open of episode 4, which I think is it's pretty fun. Like, it just starts out with just this very, like, kind of wholesome story about this husband and wife who are just getting by selling eggs or not selling eggs. Just like, it almost feels like a commercial for Folgers. Like,
that's exactly what I said to Kate. I'm like, this feels like a coffee commercial.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
When they look at each other on the porch, I was like, oh man, I'm waiting for the voiceover to kick in.
Life may be hard sometimes, but what isn't hard is brewing up a hot cup of Joe in the morning to help you get through it.
It'll make you forget about your infertility.
Not a sponsor yet.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. We'll insert that later when a coffee company reaches out to us. And then just takes like a drastic right turn into the absurd and
Horrifying,
disturbing. Yeah, like I will say, even just that first shot you see of True, where like she's just still just almost completely in shadow, and you can barely make out like her face, is so, I don't know, that shot is like so disturbing to me. And then it just gets more disturbing when she starts to talk about what her offer is. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Lady True? Because we get a pretty good amount of her this episode, and also that she is helping or working with Will on whatever he's trying to do. Do you guys have any like thoughts or ideas on how she might be connected to other things?
I disliked her right off the bat, which I think like that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the actress's name, but she nails it.
She's fucking incredible.
She's awesome. Yeah. Just the like pretentious, rich, but I'm in charge and you can't do anything about it. Like, I don't know, man.
It's this scary nice. Like, it's
yeah.
Like I don't know.
It's like if they had a long-term relationship with this woman, you would call it abusive. But it was just like their first encounter.
Yeah. Well, I think, oh man, there's like a moment in there that I feel like perfectly encapsulates that, where she's like talking about the baby, and she's like, if you don't choose to take it, it will be incinerated. And then there's like that pause, and she's like, oh, just kidding. We'll give it to a loving family. But it's like, I don't believe you like at all.
Yeah.
like she really is. She's just cold, like inhuman almost. It feels like
Yeah.
like
The line about I'm actually a trillionaire. I like that, man. Like there's so much going on in the world right now, and that was like, holy shit, we freaking got this going on right now almost.
yeah.
It was amazing to me that she was in there with no like security or protection. Like she was so secure in her own position and knew what she wanted to happen and what was going to happen that she just walked in and out.
Yeah, and got everything she wanted.
And I also love how she like has everything down to a T. Like she's like, in the next 3 minutes, we need to have this sign because that asteroid is going to hit your land.
Right.
And that's all perfectly planned out, but then the timing of the doorbell fucks up. Like, that's just hilarious to me.
Yeah, that's really good.
Was it her daughter / clone who was holding the baby?
Yeah, who's also a clone, I was going to say.
Yeah, she's definitely
I'm just
a
going to
clone.
always call clone, and someday I'm going to be right. Didn't I
boy
say
who
Bobby
cried clone.
and what's his face were also clones?
Are you asking me this because
Twin
I've
Peaks?
been listening to these fucking episodes last week? But yeah, I mean, basically your main predictions for Twin Peaks were that no women were real, that everyone was a clone, unless they weren't a clone. Then they were probably a clone at one point. But yeah, there's a lot of clone
Yeah, that's my
talking
big Twin
in
Peaks thing.
Twin
Was that
Peaks.
there's a cloning facility up in the mountains.
It was
somewhere.
mainly about Hank because he could go everywhere and be everywhere. Norma's husband. Yeah, anyways.
Man, was I right?
Nailed it. Spoiler alert. Nailed it. Anyways.
But I'm glad I'm not the only one this
No,
time.
she's definitely a clone, and she's been feeding her, like, if it's not the actual nostalgia pills, she's like in with the saline
yeah.
pack. She was
those
receiving,
because she says that those memories of like walking and her feet still hurt. Like that's all stuff she's feeding.
and
to
mom's
her.
like, good.
Yeah.
Jesus, lady.
Yeah. What
Like,
a...
I understand wanting to impart to your children like where you came from, but holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that is some that's some wild shit. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about, well, I guess we can talk about her other stuff when we talk about Angela, because that's mostly around Angela. And also a scene that I really love is when they meet. Maybe we can just talk about Angela now. I was thinking we'll talk about Angela and then Wade a little bit, since that whole episode kind of centers around him. This is the burning question I have about Angela's storyline. Any predictions on who Lube Boy is?
oh yeah,
Yeah, Gwen.
He's the slide projector man. He
Yes,
definitely
yes,
is.
yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
the only one that lurpy in the whole.
Yeah, he's so tall and skinny, and he's a massive dork. Like, he's definitely the lube guy.
Wait, is a characteristic of dork sitting there into lube?
Yes.
Okay.
But also,
I'm glad we cleared that up.
he had sex with a superhero mask on.
Right.
Like, he had the mask. He was ready for this role.
That's what gave him the idea for
Carries the
Lube Boy.
lube
Yeah.
around with him. Gotta be prepared. He's a Boy Scout.
There's something about that moment that feels just the best. Like when she turns around and sees him,
He
and they
just
just have that
stands
moment
still.
of stand up. Yeah.
Almost like he's like trying not to be seen because he has a reflective suit on. Like, you can't see me if I don't move.
Maybe she's a T-Rex.
There's like a noise he makes when she starts like going after. He's like, "What?"
I love it. I just like it really is. I think one of the most delightful things is just like being like, she lives in a world where she's just a like undercover badass all the time and sees all kinds of shit. But like, there's still stuff that is even weird for her. Like,
I do appreciate that Angela is the one who puts into she's the voice in this show that is in my head, which is basically just saying what the fuck all of the time. She's got that line down.
yeah. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, that whole chase scene is wonderful and weird in all the right ways, and I think the image of that man sliding into a sewer grate is a great gif. I think that you can use that in many situations.
You should start that.
Like,
Yeah.
him sliding into the grate, and then the red balloon comes up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Major Stephen King
Me
Watchmen
sliding into your
crossovers.
DMs like
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Lubed up, ready to go.
I mean, even just the gif of him spraying lube all over himself is pretty good for any occasion. I love it so much.
Invest now.
But yeah, so I guess the other major, there's actually not a ton. We don't get a ton of screen time with Angela in these 2 episodes. We do kind of in the first one. And kind of the major, I mean, everything that we have with Angela in these couple episodes is kind of revolving around these pills that she has found in the glove box of her car that was taken and then dropped, presumably by Lady True at this point. Not that the pills were left there, but that the car was, she was involved in that. Yeah, do you guys have any thoughts around that stuff? I do want to talk about her and Lady True's encounter, because it highlights another thing that we haven't seen a ton of, which is like the fact that Angela grew up in Vietnam is kind of an important thing in these scenes because she is fluent and she's able to. They have this they communicate these. They have this conversation right in front of Laurie Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like Laurie definitely speaks.
That's
like it was Vietnamese.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She definitely speaks it on the DL and is like,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if she didn't at this point. Like, it would be out of character for her to come into a room and not already know everything she's going to ask about.
I guess she did ask about the pills later after
True.
the cactus. Dang it, my theory's been disproved. Sorry, keep going.
But that might also be just smart detective work because what she really needs is the evidence that Angela has tampered, is covering up the stuff, which, man, Angela just comes out right in the police station and says it. Like, let's just jump forward to that moment real quick. Like, she's like, my grandfather's out there and he said he killed him, so I covered it up. It's like, fucking Booker. Like, we have everything we need. Super easy. That seems like a major slip up on her part. But whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you guys have any other impressions like from her time at the Millennium Clock, or I guess like what the Millennium Clock is, its actual purpose is? Any of that?
I don't have a clue about that. I feel
TikTok.
so in the dark about what is going on in the big picture story right now. Yeah.
Lots of clock imagery, and then also a clock that looks nothing like a clock in this show. Like, as much as we see like just normal ass clock faces, they're like, yeah, that giant skyscraper, it's a clock. It's like, oh, okay. Just everything's a clock.
I have to squint at
Watchmen. Yeah.
Angela's husband, we learned that his superpower is he has to tell the truth, which I assume will come more into play later.
Yeah.
But was also, I don't know, maybe that was the payoff at the end of that, and that was kind of dumb if that was the case, or if that's where it ends with that. Like, it's shown at the beginning of the episode that he can't lie to the kid, so he tells them that death is the end and that you should fear it. And then at the end of the episode, it's like, I always tell the truth, so it's really hard for me to lie to the other person.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm a good side character for this. Like, if that's where it ends, that's how I feel about it. But
Yeah. Well, and they like also reveal like she asks him if he told her about his accident, which we don't
oh yeah, Forgot
know
about that.
anything about really at this point. So yeah, there's like some weird things in that conversation that it's like are just still couched in a whole bunch of like cryptic stuff that we don't really have any context for. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the main stuff with Angela. We'll kind of talk about the nostalgia stuff with Wade, I guess. But any other moments with her that you guys that stuck out to you? Or
I'm forgetting a lot about that episode.
Yeah, the one with Wade really overshadowed it.
yeah, let's talk about it. Because I think it's such a good episode. I think it's crazy. Like up to this point in the series too, there have been 2 episodes that center primarily around one character, like the introduction of Laurie Blake. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens outside of her, but she really is the kind of driving force of that episode. And then we have this episode with Wade that is totally dominated by him, and it still manages to like move plot forward in meaningful ways, and you learn cool things about those characters. And I don't know, it just I love how this show is able to enrich its plot while still pushing everything forward. Like nothing feels like a detour. I don't know, it's fascinating. But yeah, let's start off with the flashback we get to 1985. Thoughts on that?
My first thought in that mirror scene was, well, at least it didn't end up being a rape. Like, Jesus.
Fair. That is fair.
Yeah, she got what she deserved, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying thank God she ran away instead of raping him.
Yeah.
We got the Top Knots back. We haven't seen the Top Knots
Right,
in
yeah.
this series yet, which is a gang in the original Watchmen comic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good callback. Like a good yeah.
Oh, was that who that guy was with the top knot?
Yeah, they all have
all
Top
right.
Knots.
Okay.
They are the Top Knots is literally their name.
That's cool. I'm happy that that's a reference.
Good little bit of lore, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like more kind of world flavor in there. But yeah, I think that I mean that scene, it hits me on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about or not talk about.
That was my first thought. As soon as that bus stopped and I saw all their faces all looking the same, I was like, this is a weird spot for transfers, but all right.
You know, I didn't even make that connection. Till
Really?
now. Yeah.
That's good for you.
Well, because they
It's-
had the pamphlets, and so I thought Jehovah's Witnesses.
Carried a bunch of pamphlets on my mission.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, but
they were
they're-
Jehovah's Witnesses, though,
they're-
right?
Yeah,
Were they?
it is a
Oh,
watchtower.
okay.
Like he is
Oh, it
holding a
said
watchtower. So
watchtower.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
I have a Watchtower pamphlet that I'm very fond of that I can't find, but it has happy people and a moose on it.
Sounds like the watchtower.
There's a lot of pandas in this episode.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of pandas.
3. Well, the only amount I can think of, but that's a lot.
300% increase in pandas over these episodes.
That sounds like a success.
Yeah, that's how you know you're
Endangered
a
my
fucking
ass.
Emmy. God damn it. But yeah, I think it was like, and it's funny because I think my experience with Jehovah's Witnesses, that's a weird thing to say, but like, we're mostly older. Like I met so many older Jehovah's Witnesses who were out like knocking on doors and passing out pamphlets. So yeah, for me, like it was still the connection of like when they were getting off the bus and they all were just in a white shirt and a black tie. It was like, this is. Yeah,
It
it's way
felt
too fucking
very
close.
crossover-y, like Mormon missionaries,
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
very clear. Yeah, it like I feel like it was like a shotgun blast
Written
of,
by
like,
somebody who's
missionary
been on the
stereotypes.
other side of that, who
Sure.
hasn't actually done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, just man, and I mean, kid had some balls. I would have here's the thing, if I was dropped off at Coney Island and it's like, yeah, go fucking get it, man. Go. The field is white. Go forward. I'd have been like, I'm gonna walk until they can't see me, and I'm gonna play skee ball for a half an hour, and I'm gonna throw these pamphlets in the garbage and go back to the bus.
But instead, he approaches the most dangerous looking motherfuckers in an alleyway.
Yeah, the ones actively doing drugs, right?
Seemingly,
Yeah.
yeah. Doing something illicit very publicly. Yeah. And then we have that just horrifying scene in the Hall of Mirrors. I don't know.
Horrifying is right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, feels like numerous dreams I've had. I'm just like being naked in places I shouldn't be naked. But yeah, good for him. No one else was going to the Hall of Mirrors. Presumably
Yeah.
not a great Hall of Mirrors, because it was pretty crowded that day. And
That's what I was
Really
thinking. I
no one's
was
in there.
like, you're falling for this. You're going to have sex here? This is a very public attraction.
yeah,
Like, if you're
He's never had sex. He
if you-
doesn't know.
If you're going to damn yourself to hell,
yeah.
do it in a more secluded place where you can, like, focus.
Yeah, I will say the last thing I would want to see the first time I was having sex is 30 of me having sex for the first time. That's not.
Maybe he had a king, and that's why he froze up.
Yeah, he's like, oh
Is that
no.
what people do with their kings is they freeze up? Feet.
T-pose. But yeah, and then like going from one horrifying scene to then just, I do want to mention the performance of like him experiencing the attack and like that second thing is also very jarring. Like just his jaw, like all of that like feels so like visceral and real. And then he goes outside and it's just a fucking nightmare. And I honestly, I did not think they were going to show like this giant monster, but then they just zoom out forever away from New Jersey and into New York, and there it is. Fucking cosmic attack.
I'm not gonna lie. My whole perception of New Jersey is formulated by the Always Sunny episode where they go to Jersey.
Oh, the Jersey Shore, yeah.
They get addicted to crack. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they get cornrows, which then are ripped off of their heads by a roller coaster they get on.
I'm pretty sure
something
someone's
like that.
having sex under a bridge or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's most Always Sunny episodes, I think. The rum ham. The rum ham is in that.
Is
which
that
is great? Yeah.
Jersey?
It's in the Jersey episode. You can listen to all our thoughts on Always Sunny on our other podcast.
Pretty much on this podcast.
Pretty much, yeah, those are most of our thoughts. But yeah, and then that is revealed that is Wade, who we know is Looking Glass, / a cold motherfucker, / he didn't witness any violence happen to that man guy. What are your thoughts on Wade? How did your thoughts on Wade change in this episode? Did they change in this episode? What worked for you, I guess, with that character stuff they did? Because there's a lot.
I really loved how my perspective changed on this character. Like, oh, this is not just... I mean, I could tell from the beginning that he was a person who cared about his job and doing the right thing, ? Within those boundaries. But, like, now understanding this massive trauma that he's gone through and how it shaped his entire life after that was really an amazing bit of storytelling. And like you said, still moving the plot forward. Like, this was not a detour. This was not, I mean, there were flashbacks, but it was not a distraction from the story in any way. And I just really appreciate that in terms of being amazing storytelling.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot because I think this show does it really well, and there are shows that don't do it very well. But I think one of the best things that this show does is, I mean, I think at least me, like, I still think of Angela as kind of our main character.
Mm-hmm.
But there is information, very important information we get in this world that is not through Angela at all. Like the whole video, like seeing Adrian Veidt's video, fuck, I need to stop reading books. Anyways, but
We'll
seeing...
fight off camera. Off mic.
Yeah.
On
Also
camera.
On camera, off mic, no sound. But the like that whole thing clearly fits with like his character and his past and is important to him. And so they make the decision to show you that through him rather than him just being with Angela and then both seeing it, which I feel like is something that a lot of shows would do. But like, I feel like the show is confident enough in the characters that it's built, in the world that it's built, that they can afford to do that. And it makes everything feel more real and more lived in. And I just love it. I think it's so great.
Do we get a specific Pirate Jenny and Red Scare episode next? Just all about them. Please.
No comment. Yeah.
You have not personally witnessed these episodes.
I have now personally witnessed these episodes being perpetrated on the eyeballs of HBO viewers.
Shit.
Man, I do love the Red Scare
Lettuce
panda. Oh, the lettuce bit. I forgot about the lettuce bit, but yes. Holy shit, the lettuce bit is really good.
Just eating evidence.
Yeah, but also him talking to Panda about American Hero Story, and then being like, "It's Hooded Justice fucking Dr. Manhattan. Just like having the nerdiest ass history discussion. Like in their world, it's a history discussion. But like in our world, it sounds like two nerds arguing about comic books. It's great.
Well, it's like, I mean, I've never heard anyone talk about it in that sense, but it's like if people were to argue about like Hamilton being like,
Sure.
and those events being how they're perceiving real history.
Yeah, for sure.
Because as we've learned from, I don't know his name, the Monitor, Lube Man. Is,
Yeah.
as we've learned from Lube
I
Man, is
think
that show was bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Old Luby, I think, is his street name.
For Lil Luby.
Lil Luby.
Oh, was it the first episode that we watched where he just like divulged FBI lady's trauma?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She is cold and like you remember what I said about her like I don't about taking her father's name as just like a fuck this. I'm going to be who I want. Like this felt like so much more that like owning it without fucking caring.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
She's
And
incredible.
it feels more cold, like telling someone else to tell someone,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to her just saying it. Like it was, yeah.
Also, it feels incredibly out of touch for the person who's told to divulge that information to be like, oh, really? Okay, fuck. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
That guy is...
It's like when you see someone's like life on Facebook, but then you see them in real life and you have to pretend you don't know anything about their life. Like he did not learn that etiquette.
Yeah. This seems like the type of guy who would dress up in silver, cover himself in lube, and go dive into the sewers. If I know anything about that. But yeah, so let's go back to Wade. Sorry, we kind of derailed it.
sorry.
No. But those are all. I think
doing
those
that.
are all. That I totally thought about your comment when she asked him to tell that story, and I was like, oh yeah, this character's really well. She's so much better in this than I feel like she's ever been, and I'm so happy about it.
It's like I don't want to be mean like her when I grow up, but I hope that I have some sort of her confidence and
Yeah.
self-assurance when I grow up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Well, I mean, it's revealed how much she knows, right? Already, because she, in her joke, she talks about like the three different guys and who's responsible for the giant squid and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Which I didn't connect till now. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm interested to see how that comes into play, because currently that's the group she's kind of working against, is a group who is trying to work against things she already knows and probably they think she doesn't know. And how she feels about that. Like if she were to see that same video that Wade saw, how is that going to affect her? Because she already knows it.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Well, the congressman got showed when he became a congressman, so presumably she saw that video too.
Well, she's
FBI,
Maybe.
right? Like they wouldn't just show it to Congress people; they would show it to key people.
I don't know how the real world FBI works.
Well,
So
I don't know either. This is TV world.
Everything I know about FBI, I know from Twin Peaks, and they're probably not.
They're really cool.
They're hilarious. No, yeah, but yeah, I think that's an interesting question: is if she has seen that,
And how many government officials
yeah,
actually know?
yeah, because presumably, if you're showing every congressman or senator who's been elected since 1993 or whatever, when that was shown to President Robert Redford, King of Sundance, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, but the white supremacy guy said when Mirror Face, whatever the hell his name is, Wade, asks him, are interdimensional attacks government conspiracies? He says maybe. So, I mean, the secret or the rumor has gotten out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Not everyone has kept quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything from the original story. But yeah, that's something now that that's out in the open that I want to talk about when we watched episode 1, but couldn't yet. I mean, not to beat to death the subject we already talked about, but like how this show deals with complex issues, some of them current, but makes you uncomfortable taking a side in certain ways, and that's the big one I think so far for me is like you have these people I feel like they've been pretty clear on the show. It's like there's no question that most of them are white supremacists and racists,
Right.
but not all of them. Like there might be some of them. Like I don't know what his actual feelings are on the matters, but the congressman, yeah, like he seems to think like these people are crazy and needed some reins on them.
Yeah, I'm here to control the situation. Like I'm here to
so it's like
a weird lie to tell yourself, but
but the fact that like so there's all these things that like I'm these are the bad guys, I should hate these people, but then you have them being like that whole thing where the police are like, oh, anyone who's essentially like you, we're going to just your rights are gone. And then also with this is the fact that they are technically right about the conspiracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that causes a lot more conflict. It's like, oh shit, well, what are they doing then? Are they actually trying to, like, what they're doing with the portals? Are they actually trying to do something good? So yeah, I don't know. I think this does a really good job with making me hate everyone while also hesitantly rooting for them. I don't know if rooting's the right word, but
sure.
Well, it's the same thing with dropping a giant squid to end a Cold War that could end in a very hot war. Like it made me think of dropping nuclear bombs on Japan. Like we killed a bajillion people to end a war, but those many people still died. Like it very much felt like a parallel to me.
Yeah.
To the real world events, like how many innocent deaths are worth it to prevent future deaths, which I mean is a question I obviously don't have an answer to, but I like I like that about this show.
Yeah, it's and I think like you both said, like I think it handles that so well, and I like that this show keeps you off balance with that stuff while not feeling manipulative. Like it doesn't feel I mean it's obviously like withholding information, revealing that at specific times, but like the show doesn't ever make me feel stupid for learning something new. Just excited and just like interested in more.
I didn't feel tricked into liking someone who then turned out to be a douchebag or whatever.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a douchebag.
Yeah, that's the great thing. You like douchebags, you hate douchebags.
I mean,
Turns out that's not the deciding factor.
That's what shares so well with the original is that like
that's true.
It's one of those tonal things. It's just like everyone's a piece of shit. Let's wade through the muck. Like, just I don't know, because like I don't know, like Wade's is an interesting character because like
good job getting us back on track, dog. That was very good.
It's like where does he stand on these issues? And it's still kind of unclear. There's that when he's talking to Angela, there's that line where he's like, he was a white man from Oklahoma, and that was like his answer is like, you're a white man from Oklahoma. Like, is that what you're actually saying? Like,
Felt like that's what he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. This show does a really good job with because like I still am interested and care about Wade, where I still feel like he could be a complete asshole.
Yeah,
like, he's an idiot. He really walked into that warehouse by himself. I mean, you could argue he was drunk. He drove okay, so I imagine he should do detective work okay and not fucking go into a warehouse by yourself.
If I've learned anything from movies from the 40s, being drunk is what makes you a good detective. But yeah, I think even just like in the closing scene of that episode, like I think it does so well as like still presenting Wade is just as confused as anyone else. Like it's such a great scene of him finding, like getting the new alarm, walking it out, putting it in the trash, and then it just kind of like slowly zooming on that, and then him coming back and getting it out. Like he's still so conflicted, and like I don't know. It's just I'm so fascinated by all that.
Also,
stuff.
something I don't know if was intentional with his character. It was like, this is a subject I feel like not a lot of people talk about directly. Is that we associate people by their vehicles, right? Like their choice of vehicle. and racists drive trucks. Not all truck drivers are racist.
But all truck drivers
all
are
racists
assholes. Oh, sorry. We're going to different directions.
All racists are truck drivers. But that works too. But so he switches from his truck to his Toyota Yaris. And I don't know, and that's such a millennial. I mean, it wasn't quite Prius level, but like it's definitely something that like you get beat up for by truck drivers, or they attempt to until they see you're 6'4" and you have a beard and a deep voice and tell them to back the fuck off.
I actually didn't like make that connection of like him doing that as a like. I'm trying to think of the word for that, but it's
like code switching.
Yeah, code switching. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't think about it in those terms, but yeah, that's really cool.
I don't know if that was an intentional thing. It was just something I noticed. I'm like, huh, those are two very different vehicles that you keep in the same garage and seem to be using different ones for different responsibilities in your life type of thing, which I guess is normal for a truck, because if you're going to the Home Depot, you got to get a truck. But
and you're an asshole. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't.
Half our listeners are truck drivers.
All
Tyler.
opinions expressed on this podcast are solely mine and not of the podcast itself. But man,
does that include my opinions too? Because I'm fine with that. If you want to take those, and
you love the
all
shit
of
out of
my opinions
Destiny.
are Justin's opinions and vice versa, not necessarily the podcast. But yeah. Anyways, any other thoughts on Wade? I mean, there's still a lot to talk about with him. I'm
hoping he doesn't die. Like we've got the closing scene is the Rorschach guy is going into his house and getting the shotgun ready to go blow him up supposedly. So
I feel like if he was gonna die right then, we would have seen him die.
That's
right then.
how it feels, but I don't know. Like I'm at the point now where like that setup is even like I'm doubting. Like we didn't see the death, so it didn't happen, and that's like the trope now. So we're gonna have that subverted. There's that fun subversion word that TV loves to do. And yeah, he's actually going to be dead. So I hope not. We'll see.
Oh man, I love this like meta toxic relationship we have with just storytelling.
Isn't that just anyone who watches TV and movies in 2020 though?
Well, honestly, I think it's anyone who exists in 2020, because that storytelling now is just a fucking weapon that can be used on every platform to fucking militarize people and people are really good at storytelling, and they're bastards sometimes. We need more David Lynch's in the world. Anyways, no, but yeah, it is. I mean, there are sometimes when I watch TV shows because I'm like, you're not respecting me. It's a fucking TV show. Who gives a shit? Anyways, we have his relationship with his wife, which reveals a like kind of Sunshine of the Spotless Mind-esque company that will clone your pet and also is entirely staffed by twins. Or like, clones themselves? I don't know.
I think the cloning thing is a real thing today. Like I think
the pet cloning is?
I swear that this is an actual thing that that
there definitely
is available.
Worked on it. I mean, what I know of it, I read on articles on the internet, so who the fuck knows?
Right, yeah.
Stories that they're using to make you hate. Insert anything
5 reasons why cloning is real and 3 that it's not.
You can get grandma turned into a diamond ring, so maybe you can clone
Can we get her cloned?
Well, I mean...
Can I clone my grandma?
I mean...
Siri, can I clone my grandma?
It's not quite the same thing, but there was that Chinese scientist who was recently arrested because he genetically created, like, tailored... was it twins or was it just one child?
Yeah, there was something about that. I don't remember the details.
Put it into a woman's body, like, and gave birth, and like China was like, "Look, we draw the line here.
Or maybe
we love your work, but we have to look good.
Draw the line at you're not supposed to talk about this."
Yeah,
we had an agreement. No Facebook posts.
God. Yeah, what a weird. Yeah, and then we get the Gwen's favorite scene.
Yeah, incinerator is the answer to all of that, obviously.
Gosh.
My feelings are still hurt.
I think part of it that makes that scene hurt more is just what a sleek looking appliance it looks like. You know what I mean? Like lots of times when you see like incinerators for like human beings, it's like that is just a huge utilitarian fucking oven. Like it looks scary. This is just
It looked like my
a
dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
It does look like our dishwasher.
I was like, because I remember, like, there's a little part of you that's like, so is that machine gonna make the dog a little bit bigger? Like, I hope they're just sizing it up a little
like
bit.
That machine Adrian built, where you just hear the screaming.
Oh
of,
my god,
Bones
yes.
crunching and or expanding or whatever.
He's living in this steampunk universe. How did he create a fetus sizer upper?
He dropped a
he's the
fucking
smartest
squid on New
man.
York in 1985.
I know. Tell me how.
I think we actually will get into that. There is still a big difference in the world, and I think it's explored in the comics a little bit, but I can't remember. I think that they mention it in the show. If they don't, we will talk about it later, about how technologically the world of Watchmen and our world is very different and why it's very different. I'll put a pin in it because you might sort of get an answer to that. It's not going to explain like specifically, but technology is different.
Okay. I want to know, damn it.
Yeah. I mean, we did see a portal in this episode.
Made by rednecks, nonetheless. People who have no business making portals.
It's crazy. The first portal created goes straight to a Willie Nelson concert in 1974. What a waste. I like Willie Nelson. I don't know why I threw him under the bus like that.
I mean, I can't imagine, though, the crowds at a Willie Nelson concert would be
That's fair.
the funnest to be in.
Isn't that any concert, though?
Tell me about it.
Or am I just a recluse?
I mean, you're kind of a recluse, but I get it.
Kinda.
I get it. All right.
Where are we?
Let's... other things about Wade. His mask serves a very specific purpose. His hat that he wears serves a specific purpose.
He hung up on that call for the order with the customer service like way quicker than I would have. Like I'm always like, I know you're gonna fuck this up, so I'm gonna double check and make sure we got everything. Okay, is the call ended? Is my order okay? Goodbye.
It also ended a lot more cordially than I thought it was going to as well. Like he was
Yeah.
pissed, but then he's like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do whatever we need to. Like, just get it to me. I'll pay extra.
Yeah.
Have a good day."
I want to know how much it costs to have a bunker like that in your backyard. Like, did he buy the house with the bunker, or
We're
did
not
he...
building one.
First it's the outdoor kitchen. Now it's the fucking bunker.
You know what? The end is coming.
I can't
TikTok.
keep up with you guys.
Keeping up.
I haven't
with
gotten
the
a dog
Joneses.
yet. Or a second kid.
Do you want a clone of theirs?
If it's a little bit smaller.
Oh, we don't do a little bit smaller here.
Those get turned straight into chicken nuggets.
That's like at least 50 chicken nuggets. It's a party's amount of
How many
chicken
dog
nuggets.
nuggets can you get? How does this dog? Yeah.
I hate that incinerator scene, but goddamn, I'll make a chicken nugget joke about dogs.
This is our chicken nugget dishwasher, 3000.
Hungry? Just puts it in hungry, yeah.
Throw a live
Sweet
chicken
and sour?
in.
You want sweet and sour with that?
We've really gotten to the point of this episode.
This is really, yeah, you're nailing it. I mean, I think the last thing we really have to talk about. Well, okay, I do want to mention we get another episode of American Hero Story,
Yes.
which is just like Hooded Justice, and I can't
Who is
remember
that?
who the other character is. The other Minuteman.
Is he Mothman?
Maybe?
Is Mothman even a Minuteman?
I don't remember.
There's someone with wings, isn't there?
I think so.
Who gets caught in a revolving door and then gets shot?
Yeah. Oh, I think that is Mothman. I don't remember. Anyways, I know that we will remember his name at some point in the future. But yeah, we get this depiction of Hooded Justice as being gay, but also like pretty damaging stereotype of gay. I don't know. It feels very much like a skewering of prestige television and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And also with the conversations that are happening in the episode, you get the idea that there's some like editorializing or dramatizing that's going on that is missing the mark in a lot of ways. Anyways, I think that's worth bringing up just based on some things we'll see. Last thing, nostalgia. Let's talk about the pills that Angela. Why do I want to say Andrea right there? It is Angela, right?
Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angela. Okay. Too many names. That she gets from her grandfather. We get her these nostalgia, which are memories put into pill form. Kind of reinforcing that idea that Gwen brought up earlier of like what Lady True is doing with her daughter is like somehow putting these memories into her. Yeah. What do you guys have any predictions for where that goes? I mean, she basically just fucking took a shit ton of them and got arrested.
Our next episode is going to be her hallucinating all those memories.
Yeah, I don't know what the recommended daily dose of nostalgia is, but I think she overdid it.
Yeah.
We did get the bit from Wade's ex-wife about how they were discontinued because they would cause psychosis, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
So obviously Angela taking a whole bunch at once, it's foreshadowing that something is not going to be okay from doing that, most likely.
Yeah.
That might also. Did we ever learn what True's business is?
She bought Vite.
Yeah, she bought
Vite's
Vite Industries,
company?
which I'm also still to this day kind of confused what Vite Industries actually did.
Which I think means it's a great mega corporation. If you can't
Yeah.
nail down exactly what it does, it's probably doing its job.
'Cause I was
very
wondering
well.
if True is pharmaceuticals and
Sure.
makes those.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, and
That would
that's
make sense.
why they're kind of partnering up, because he's getting old and
Yeah.
he's getting Alzheimer's, and she's like, I can give you your memories back if you help me take over the world.
Yeah. Well, that's a good connection too. Like, because she's already doing that, and yeah, it definitely has the means.
We still we don't know what Will has to offer True. Like there's something obviously because they're in partnership, and I feel like we know what True has to offer Will, but we don't know what the other side of the relationship is, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. I don't know. Is there anything else from these episodes that you guys want to talk about?
I want to go home and watch the next one.
I am very excited for the next couple episodes. It's crazy. We're like over halfway through this show.
There are 9 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like, it feels even shorter than a normal TV show, almost in a bragging way of like, fuck you, we're going to do in 9 episodes what you can't do in 10, and we're going to do it better. Fuck you.
I love it. I love knowing that it has an ending, and presumably that's it.
Sure. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And that it's a licensed like it's doing that with a licensed property, which feels like a thing you definitely don't do in 2020 if you have a license to a popular thing. Like, you don't make 9 episodes of a show, get everyone in love with it, and they're like, see you later. But Damon Lindelof has a lot to make up for since he made Lost.
Yeah.
Which I did, we haven't talked about that. Damon Lindelof is credited as a writer on every episode of this. Now, I don't know exactly what that means as far as, how his writer's room works, whether it's just him getting final pass on those episodes or if he's... It seems that the way that he talks about this property, it feels like it's something that he would want to be very hands-on with from beginning to end. But yeah, I think it does a really great job. Yeah. Anyways, so next week, episodes 6 and 7 of Watchmen. Next week, 2 weeks, I don't know. We'll see. Sometime in the next little bit, there will be another episode where we talk about those 2 episodes. If you want to email us at all about this or whatever, emails at rewatchersonthepod@gmail.com or reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram at rewatcherspod. And we'll be back with some recommendations. Catch you on the flip flop later. come to halfway through our recommendations section of this podcast because we just talked about a bunch of stuff off mic that maybe we'll get in here. But Gwen, do you want to start us off for recommendations this week?
Sure.
You don't have to.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
just surprised.
Okay. Justin, do you want to start us off for recommendations this week?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, awesome. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
We usually set that up before. I didn't. I apologize. I am so sorry.
Just a quick recommendation. I've talked about, I think I've mentioned Rhett and Link, their Good Mythical Morning stuff on YouTube. They're one of the biggest YouTube channels out there, but they have a side channel that they've spun off of after. I can't remember when they hired this guy. A couple of years ago. His name's Josh. He is their chef that they use for all of their food related videos that they do, and he has his own channel now called Good Mythical Kitchen, and it's fantastic. I really enjoy watching cooking shows on YouTube. Catch most of Binging with Babish all of the time. Babish is really great. I was watching all of the Bon Appetit stuff that was being put out, but there's a lot of drama at that place this past year.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Okay, I'm remembering all that now.
Kind of went up in flames.
That was a shit show for sure. But anyways, Josh is really great. Good Mythical Kitchen. They have a few series that they do where they take we're gonna recreate a fast food menu item and from whenever, and then we're gonna do that, but there's also we're going to make a fancy fast food item as well. Like one of them that they did recently was the McRib, and they made a $300 version of a McRib with using I don't know, it was buffalo meat or so. I can't remember all the stuff that they use.
Wagyu steak and
so stuff like that where it's
super fancy bourbon.
Yeah, we're gonna take something and just see how expensive we can make it and still hopefully have it taste good. And Josh is just the guy is insane. He's crazy. He's one of the best YouTube personalities I think that I've watched. So if you are into that kind of thing, check him out. It's really great. I enjoy it a lot. YouTube is kind of where that's my main source of content right now. I just have all my subscriptions, and that's the media I consume. So if you need YouTube recommendations, I've got them.
Cool. I'll go ahead and give my recommendations. I actually have a YouTube recommendation as well, which is a YouTube channel. It's just a man's name, Frank Watkinson. Frank Watkinson is probably in his 60s. I actually found him because someone posted, he does just acoustic covers of songs. And someone posted this, he had posted a cover of When You Died by the Menzingers. And if you're into those Johnny Cash covers that he did of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails and that stuff, it's kind of a similar energy. I'm not saying this guy is Johnny Cash because he's certainly not. But he's pretty good at guitar and has this very earnest and honest quality to him that makes watching his covers just really, really entrancing. He does a lot of great stuff. I just listened to In the Airplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel that he covered that was really good. He's done some Smiths covers that I really like.
Does he do them by
Cab
request, or does he make his own choices?
Don't know. I've mostly just been. He does have a couple videos. I haven't even heard him talk about anything. I just found him this week. I subscribed, and I've just been kind of going through his videos. But yeah, I'm not sure how he chooses them. But it's a fairly new channel. I think within the last couple of years, and he's posted over 400 videos. So it makes it feel like this is just a channel where this guy played guitar his whole life and now doesn't have a whole lot going on and is just fucking churning out hits. And he's really good and it's really great. So check out Frank Watkinson on YouTube. I also have a podcast I want to recommend. The Ringer put out a new podcast this guy made. I think it ended a couple months ago, but he did a first season, which is 6 episodes, and it's just called Gamblers. And it's basically him interviewing and telling the stories of people who have made a living out of gambling. And the first one is just about this woman who learned how to do hole card counting, which I didn't really know about, but it's basically you play blackjack and you learn how to read cards at specific casinos because of the mark that is on the sides of decks of cards, because they'll usually stamp them with these things, and you get good at basically reading little tiny pips on the side of cards, and you'll know like that's either a 3 or a 4, that's a 5 or a 6, or you know what I mean, like. And
that sounds like something that you get kicked out and banned for like immediately as soon as they catch on.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is they talk about it's actually harder to find people who are counting whole cards, because the thing about counting cards is your bets fluctuate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but if you're whole card counting, there's so much certainty there that you don't have to move your bets, and you can like bet on that you're going to be making money. And it's really, really fascinating.
That's interesting.
I am not a gambler. There's so much I don't know about gambling. But I feel like this podcast does a really great job of like teaching me, like telling me that story and having me invest in it and understand what the hell is going on. But there's also like, one of my favorite episodes, I think, is the last one, but it's about damn it, I just forgot his name, but he's a guy who became very popular on like playing internet poker, and basically at one point put $100 into internet poker and made like, I think around $6 or $7 million playing internet poker. And it's just really cool. And these are all people who are still living, and he like was able to go and interview. So you have a lot of their stories from their perspective, them speaking in the lingo of games, you know, like hearing a guy talk about like pool games, but using all the jargon and stuff. No, I didn't understand that sentence at all, but holy shit, your knees got broken. Like it's just stuff like that. It's really interesting. And I think it's pretty well done. The host is like, not my favorite, but I think the show itself is really fun, and the information is so fascinating. The last thing I have to recommend, I've only watched one episode of this, but I am very excited about it, is a docuseries on HBO called The Vow. I think the first season just ended, but it's about like this self-improvement cult, the self-improvement group, now labeled cult, called Nexium, which is like a kind of about like controlling, you know, changing the way you think about problems that are removing phobias and blocks that are keeping you from success, that got really popular. And then just recently their founder and like president was arrested for abuse and all this other stuff. But this is another documentary where they have interviews with people from the very top of this organization that were there for a long time, and people who like left a year ago and have been on this crusade since, people who are still in. And the first episode itself, it's funny because if I didn't know this was a documentary, if they had cut off like the first 3 minutes of this documentary and just showed it to me, I'm like, this sounds pretty good. Other than the part where I have to give you a bunch of money and I have to keep giving you a bunch of money so you give me a different color sash. Everything else sounds rad and I want to know more. But it definitely, like, by the end, it kind of like shows you this very bright and like fascinating side of this community of people who are having success and doing it all through the power of their brains. And then at the end, just like is like, and it's a whole bunch of sinister shit going on. But it's really fascinating. And I guess they're already doing a second season, which actually has a lot of interviews with the founder post his like indictment and all of that. So it seems like it's going to be this really, if not accurate, fascinating kind of document that's created alongside these events as they're unfolding. But yeah, really great production value, really interesting stories. So check that out. Gwen.
I'm ready now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So I've been playing Destiny.
Jesus. It's happened.
I've put in about 5 hours, 5 whole hours.
Okay. And
I fucking suck. And honestly, it's kind of miserable. But I'm going to go back into the Crucible without Justin dragging me up into the higher tiers so people just kill me. I can't figure out how to turn around. I can't press shift fast enough. I change shift to caps lock so that hopefully my tiny stunted pinky can reach and I can sprint. I keep forgetting that F is my super and I have to look down to unfreeze myself with V and I'm trying, Justin.
What build you
Supposed to be
running?
a recommendation.
Justin, what build am I running?
She's a Titan.
That one.
Nice.
And with the Arc class,
I think I've ever played
and
Titan.
I think it's the middle or bottom. I don't know which tree. I don't play very much Titan.
So the most fun that I've had is when I found a sniper rifle and I could just sit up on a ledge and kill the bad guys as they spawned.
Oh, okay. You found the joy of spawn camping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Online
But
gaming is for you.
It wasn't
They're gonna love you.
players. It was just bad guys.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I
Gotcha.
wasn't doing
That's what I
anything
consider
naughty, but then
players.
Justin dragged me away to go finish the quest. So, yeah.
distracted you from your killing to do the written killing.
Yes.
Sounds exactly like my experience with Dark Souls. Playing with Justin. I found that sniper rifle, and Justin kept dragging me away.
We're better off for it though.
I am.
I'm gonna give it several more hours before I give up on it. I'm
Don't-
gonna
have-
try the Crucible again.
Don't you like play Minecraft?
Yeah,
So you know how like first person cameras work?
yeah.
Like, so
But
that's not your
I've
struggle?
never played against other people though. I've always played against computers.
There's
Gotcha.
like a stress there that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering.
Crucible
So
is-
it's not like so
no,
much
like
movement.
I know basically how to move, but when there are real people involved, I get stressed out. I'm like,
Gotcha.
oh, there's a person, and then I'm dead.
PvP is much faster than
Yeah, for
PvE too, and like you can get by in PvE without really like knowing how to use your abilities that well. At least just like in the open world stuff. In PvP, like you kind of have to know a little bit more about what's going on with your build and stuff.
Yeah, how to combo those things. And, yeah.
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 Well, that's cool.
So next thing, I've been looking for a replacement for Community in my life, and I tried the New Girl today. And there's just too much cringe, and I can't do it. So nope.
You're the first person I've heard say that about that show in a long time. Thank you.
Really?
I can't stand that show, and anyone else that brings it up is always like, and I love it, especially Mitch. And I'm like,
That's the douchebag guy, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is there more than? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
But something that I can recommend is World Without End by Ken Follett. I finally finished it. It's Kingsbridge number 2. So the first Kingsbridge was just this epic of building a cathedral. And this is 200 years later. And it's follows like 4 people, one of them who becomes a monk, one of them who marries a laborer, one who becomes a nun, and one who is an architect. And it's just their story over 10 years in the early to mid 1300s. And it's amazing. It's like a soap opera in the 1300s, and you get really satisfying arcs and conclusions, and there's the plague, and it's fantastic.
Oh, love me a good plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's eerie because this was written a while ago, right? And people in the book are like, we're not going to wash our hands and wear masks.
So it's
Is
just
this one of those ebooks
Jesus.
that's gone back? They've gone back and changed it now.
I don't know, man. Kind of seems like it. But yeah.
I'm just hoping that it's just the novelization of Prequel by Ghost, and that's
Rats. Yeah,
what
Yeah.
I need in my life.
Recommend that.
good stuff.
Now
Okay.
I'm done.
Great. That's how I handle this part. Tyler, do you have any recommendations?
Oh, I do.
Fascinating and enlightening. Anyways.
We'll get it figured out.
Should I say something there, and we
Nah, it's
cut
fine.
it out? It's
We're
figure
just
it
gonna we're just gonna go to Tyler's conversation about Cyberpunk.
long ass.
We're gonna cut back to that, and then we'll
Yeah.
come right back afterwards.
Great.
I'm not a big I don't like Breath of the Wild very much. I like Zelda games because of the structure it had and stuff. I don't like dicking around very much. So that should tell you how bad it is that I'm a little disappointed that the open world is not.
Okay.
The thing that I think is missing the most, and I might have said this last week, I don't remember, is that I felt like the gangs were like a big advertised thing, and I was expecting like Skyrim level like quest lines throughout these. There's no such thing. You do not even see some of these people. They just call you on the phone and have you do jobs. Like, and that frustrated me a lot. I was like, I was hoping that at least 2 of them would have like a thing where you'd have to choose like one gang over the other.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
The other thing that frustrates me about that is immediately after the montage, when you start the actual game, all of a sudden you're just getting calls from this cop who's like, hey, got another job for you. And you're like, who the fuck are you? And then you walk 30 feet and she's like, oh, there's someone else in your area. It's like, I am not even out in this world yet, and I have 2 missions for the fucking cops. And, and then I'm going to travel like another 100 feet in another direction. She's like, oh, one of our undercover cops is in there. And you're like, I still don't know who you are. Like, I don't know. I have no context for any of this. It's rough, but
Yeah. Regina Jones is like the Preston Garvey in Fallout 4, like needing another settlement's help. Like, I fucking hate Regina Jones.
yeah.
I'm like, you gotta help these cyberpsychosis victims. I'm like, I don't know how to do these without killing them, so I feel really bad doing this quest, so I'm not gonna do them anymore. Also, I'm helping the cops. Fuck you. Like, I am a cyberpunk. I'm not like.
I also love how your street cred stat is connected to helping the cops. It's like, this is not how this works. Especially not what I'm led to believe with how the cyberpunk world operates. Like, oh, it's really out of touch in some weird ways. But yeah. That being said, the written content, now that I've had a better introduction, I am enjoying much more.
Yes, so. I really like there's at least 6 endings that I know of. I have now as of today, I've seen all 6.
Okay.
And because there's a spot in the game where it's the classic, you make sure you finish your shit, and I kind of like how they do it here. I don't know if they do it in The Witcher. I can't remember. I don't like when games, it kind of breaks the fourth wall a bit when like a character's like, if you've got any unfinished business, now's the time. This is just like just a message pops up on your screen. It's like, hey, just make sure you finish any side quests you want to do, because this is it.
If it was really good, it would be only if you had a certain cybernetic enhancement installed. It's like, lets you see a little bit into the future, but that's the only thing it does. It's like, hey, game's about to end, dude.
But man, so...
Also, we should have had this entire conversation on mic during recommendations, but whatever.
I mean, I can save it if we want, but like, man, I have so many mixed feelings about the endings that I obviously can't talk about too much, but like, they are, I mean, to be upfront, a lot of so like I said, there's only 6 that I know of. There could be more because of other decisions earlier in the game that might open up new, I don't imagine they're very different. Mm-hmm. But like 5 of the 6 endings are very, very different. And it kind of goes like this. There's a point where you make a decision between 3 choices. Those are all very different. And then at the end of those 3 choices, you have 2 branches on the end of each of those, which is like pretty drastically different. There's not a lot after those, but they feel important. Like they feel like big decisions.
This doesn't do like the Knights of the Old Republic 2 thing where it's like, Darth Revan went on to be valedictorian at his high school. Like, it doesn't do like the slideshow thing, right?
No, does KOTOR 2 do that now?
Yeah. Well, it does. Like at the end, it's just like some of the fates of characters. It's just like text.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like you just,
yeah.
it's an Obsidian thing.
Yeah.
They do that in a lot of their shit. I think New Vegas does it too, but
no, they don't. They don't do anything. Oh, kind of.
But there's like more substantial, like in-game stuff, kind of.
It's definitely credits.
Okay. Okay.
But it's not. But yeah, I mean, I've got mixed feelings about it. It was fine. It's definitely better than. I didn't really like how they did The Witchers, where it was like just the drawn pictures with the narration.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same. Yeah. Exactly. That's the same.
So it's better than that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was something that was a nice, pleasant surprise. Was like how different each of those endings are.
Okay.
I have very mixed feelings because you do miss out on some like some character arcs feel incomplete if you make certain choices, but then they are complete if you make different choices, but then you won't see the other stuff.
Sure.
There's like really big, like one moment in particular that's like you only see if you make the one choice, and that you even know about if you make the one choice, and it's a pretty big thing. And Yeah. So what I ended up choosing also was like is considered like the bad ending. Like the achievement you get for it is the devil, and I was playing a pretty like good, morally good character. I felt like. I mean, considering as good as I could be doing what I was doing, you know.
Yeah.
So that the point where you make that decision between the three choices, the choice that I picked to me wasn't so clear that I was making an evil choice. I thought it sounded like the most interesting one, and so that's why I picked it like narratively. Which yes,
Yeah, okay. This is sounding like The Witcher 3 to me. I'm going to be punished for trying to create interesting story arcs.
And as soon as I picked it, everyone just treated me like shit. They were like, "I can't believe you're a monster." I was like, "Do I not have any other choices later?"
Yeah.
Like that because that was my plan. Was like, I'm gonna do this, and it seems like a big risk, but hopefully it's gonna pay off because I'm gonna like. I imagine there'll be another choice, which there is, but it's different than I thought. That, however, I think is my favorite ending, even though I just don't like that everyone automatically treats like there's no indication in the choice that that's an evil decision. That's my only gripe with that one. Other than that, I think that is my favorite one. So yeah, I want you. We'll talk again in a few months.
Yeah.
When everyone
Sounds good.
beats it, but like, oh man.
We may have to do another mega long spoiler cast.
Yeah, but like, I think just get your expectations, I guess, in order.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful for sure.
Because like I think that I was going in thinking we were getting like Skyrim levels of depth.
Yeah,
and it most certainly is not. I think I did there's one side quest that I feel like I know there's one I didn't do because it's a romance quest for a dude and I was a dude and I can't remember. I picked a different romanceable character which opened up another story path so that like I couldn't do that one because I saw it in the trailers, so that's why I knew I was missing something there. There's another one which I really want to see the end of, but I can't figure out how to trigger the next set of events. Involves that character that Grimes plays, and I don't know. There's So, but I don't know. So don't go into it expecting like, I guess that level of like, oh, now I'm gonna do a new playthrough where I go and do all this stuff. It's like,
is it true that Grimes plays Elon Musk?
that would be incredible. But you don't. I guess it depends how closely you follow the marketing. Like she plays a pop star.
Oh, I remember that vaguely. Yeah, I didn't remember.
And she leaked her character's backstory before she was supposed to.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't see it anywhere in the game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's like basically she's a pop star who, she's like all chrome, like her body's completely metal. And how that happened was, as a performance art piece, she like committed suicide on stage at a concert, and then the doctors took her backstage and transferred like all her internal organs into this metal thing and brought her back to life, essentially.
She BJ Blazkowicz.
Yes. And that was like her big performance art moment. Like, so yeah, the character's like has some interesting things, and I just wish I had more time to explore it. But like, I will say, I am on my second playthrough. I'm doing a katana build, and way funner than I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
I started doing it wrong. I was trying to do like a stealth one, and those weren't really compatible. So I just started putting everything into blades, and basically you're just running around like a fucking anime character, and like you sprint and you like hold it like this, and like you just see like your forearm with a handle sticking out. It's so fucking cool. And you like unlock stats where it's like, okay, the faster you move, the first tier is like you're 20% harder to hit when you're moving, and then like that unlocks more. And then it's like and then you do it so like it drains less stamina to swing your sword, and then there's a chance to cause bleeding. You can increase that, and then you can stack. There's another thing where it's like if you stack the bleeding, it can heal you every time you cause bleeding. And so you just run around. You're this impervious, crazy. You can also find the Kill Bill jumpsuit, which is really hard to find. I just stumbled upon it in a shop.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you just are like running around boxes. You just slice the shit out of someone, and you run away before everyone focuses you too much. It's a blast. I didn't think that. I mean, Melee isn't like the most well done Melee, but first person Melee has always sucked, and I don't think anyone's done it very great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. I'm hoping to give you a real dope transition.
I guess my recommendation though is kind of the same as last week though. Is like, if you are playing on a base PS4 or Xbox, don't ever wait till you upgrade. And if you're playing on like a mid-level system, probably wait 2 months. Yeah. If you have a high-end PC, you can play it now. I don't know about AMD cards though, how those are faring. I have not seen anything on that, surprisingly, actually.
I know there was something weird about AMD CPUs, which people have like
AMD CPU, really, not the GPU.
Yeah, the CPU.
I haven't heard about that.
It's
which
like
people had built like they're like hex edits that are now on GitHub and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and someone has built a patch actually that you can download. Which I don't know that I recommend downloading a patch that anyone's made. But
I mean, I have a Ryzen CPU, so like
so do I. Yeah.
I've noticed that's what's holding me back, and I shouldn't be bottlenecking that hard.
Yeah.
I don't have the best CPU, but it's no slouch either. So it's like they definitely have not optimized this thing well for everything. But I mean, I've got it to a point where it looks okay, and I'm playing at 60 frames per second. So, I don't know. I really enjoyed the game. Just going with right expectations. Like I said, it's not Skyrim. It's just a good video game that has a lot of fun, cool character moments, dialogue choices. I texted Tyler earlier in the week. There's a great side quest that's like the most 80s movies. The Witcher expansion had a kind of similar quests where it feels very like, like the body switch moments and that feel very 80s comedy type thing. It's really a lot of fun. So if you have a higher end system or something that can handle it, I highly recommend playing it now even, and it will only get better over time when they fix it. But yeah.
All right. Well, we will.
Did you want to do Mitchell's?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. We have Mitchell's recommendations. Gwen, what's Mitchell's recommendation for the week?
Mitchell's recommendation is Post Malone because it came up in his Spotify Wrapped, and he recommended to me that I listen to Sunflower by Post Malone. And I listened to Post Malone all the next day, and it is, as the kids say, a vibe.
There you go. From the mouths of Mitchell's, you will get recommendations for Post Malone. I love this segment so
I also
much.
have a Mitchell one that I'm probably not going to remember next week, so I'm going to drop it now.
Let's just get all our Mitchell ones out. I feel like these are going to be coming real hot and heavy. So
Netflix has a new series out called Tiny Pretty Things. And it is it looks very dramatic about a ballerina who wasn't going to be accepted, but then there's a murder of one of the other ballerinas, so then she gets accepted to fill her place, but then they're wondering, did one of the other ballerinas kill her? And it looks like a hoot. So I think that Mitchell is eating that up and would highly recommend for all of you to participate in the number 3 trending on Netflix show, Tiny Pretty Things.
I feel like we'll know this is working when we get messages from Mitchell being like, I liked it. I really dug the recommendation that I gave on the podcast. I've got one from Mitch. I'll save mine for next week, just in case. But yeah, Mitchell is still just fucking devouring media, making media, just being a real boss bitch out there in London. That's all I have to say. We'll see in 1 or 2 weeks, depending. We don't know with holidays. We'll see what happens next week. But we will be watching the next 2 episodes of Watchmen, episodes 6 and 7. Get caught up. There's some real great stuff that happens. Like I said, we are more than halfway through this show now. So we've just got stuff's going to start coming together in real fun ways. But yeah, you can, like I said, reach out to us at our email at rewatchersonthepod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at rewatcherspod. You have been here with me, Tyler Harris, and
Gwen Hammer.
Tyler McKinley.
Justin Hammer.
Goodbye. So long.
Ready.